Good morning, Clearly Essential team, and welcome. We are having a monthly continuing education class today that I'm really excited about, and it is called Healthy Habits for the New Year. So welcome to 2018. I am looking forward to learning this information right alongside you. And I'm here today with Angie Schinke, and she is going to be presenting a lot of good information. I definitely recommend taking some notes, having some paper and pen handy to take some notes about how you can reach some health goals for this year and how you can develop some healthier habits going into the new year. I know many of us have goals around health and weight loss and just general overall well-being, feeling better. So I'm excited to learn along with you. And Angie, I'd love for you just to introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about your background.
Sure. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm glad to be doing this morning. Just a little bit about me. I've been a wellness advocate since 2014 and just have loved the oils. I started just for health reasons, just wanting to be in the preventative mode. And so using oils I knew would help with that. So that's how I got connected with doTERRA and the oils through Crystal. And so, but health and wellness is a really exciting thing for me to talk about because I'm very passionate about it. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And I think you posted the printout sheet. Is that right?
Yes, if you look on the event page, I posted a link to that. And I'll also post this separately with the recording and that printout that you can have in the Clearly Essential usage group after this if you're watching the recorded version. But if you're watching live, you can go to the event page on Clearly Essential Crystal and just click on this event, and you have a link there to a PDF that Angie created with some notes.
Yeah, so there'll be some information on there, but there's plenty of space for you to take notes. So feel free to print that out and use it at your leisure. So our goal for this little webinar is to talk about the essentials of health and wellness using doTERRA's wellness guide, also known as the wellness pyramid or the building blocks. So I'm going to move forward and show that to you. So you can see there are 6 blocks to this. And we're going to spend the majority of our time really in the first 3, a little bit in 4, and then we won't talk as much about 5 and 6. So if you're with us and you're thinking, oh man, we're still talking about eating right and exercising, just hang in there. It's not going to be that much longer. But there is a lot to talk about, especially on those, because they are at the bottom rung. They are the foundation of our wellness lifestyle. So we're gonna focus there. I don't know if anybody is new to doTERRA and doesn't know much about doTERRA, but I feel like I should just share this with you before we start. doTERRA was founded in 2008. It is a company that is committed to helping others. And I think that's really important to remember. Whether it's the clients, doTERRA helps by providing products to prevent disease and illness or promoting repair and healing. So they're passionate about helping their clients. They're passionate about helping the farmers with whom they work. They provide fair and timely payment so they can care for families and communities. They are in developing countries that have greater needs. Through co-impact sourcing, doTERRA helps provide resources, tools, and training to maintain a long-lasting and effective relationship with those farmers and the communities. So I think that's really amazing. And then also, doTERRA is passionate about helping their wellness advocates, those who represent their company. They provide an amazing compensation plan, tools, and training to help others learn about essential oils. Our leaders are visionary. They're very humble, and I really appreciate that about them. They're committed to providing the highest quality products, whether that be supplements, oils, hair care products, oral care, Whatever it is, they are committed to doing that, and committed to doing that around the world. And I think it's cool also to note that doTERRA's executives started the company out of their own wallets, and the company remains debt-free today. So those are just some really, I think, important things to know about doTERRA, because this wellness lifestyle that is before us is something that they put out. So I think it's really helpful for that. So we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the bottom rung there, eating right. We're going to talk about that. Healthy habit number one, eating right. Man, this is an area where we are on information overload. There is so much information out there on how to eat right. And so where do you start? In fact, I love this picture. I think we're on diet overload. And especially when we hit January, you hear about all these diets out there. And so there's a diet, it seems, for everything imaginable. So I am not going to tackle that. I'm not going to tell you which diet is best, but I am going to say, not being an expert by any means, that you have to discover what works best for you and your body. I know for a fact right now that the paleo and the ketogenic diets are very popular, and I don't know a whole lot about them. I've never stuck to them. I've never tried them. But I know people who I have, quote, dietary respect for, that are committed to these diets. So I think there's some good in them, but it is interesting to note. I just read U.S. News and World Report put out their best diets ranking recently, and paleo and the ketogenic diet are not even in, I don't think they're even in the top 10. So that's very interesting. It just so happens that the Mediterranean and the DASH diets, DASH, are at the top of those lists. So very interesting about that. I don't know much about those two diets either. So, but I think the Mediterranean diet sounds delightful. But I think that what is most important is that we have to be, whatever you choose to do, we have to be in constant and consistent evaluation. We have to ask ourselves, how do I feel? How do I feel in the morning when I wake up? How do I feel, midday, at noon? How about in the afternoon, that slump period? And then what about at night? I think we have to ask ourselves, what is my body experiencing? We also need to ask ourselves, how am I sleeping? Because sleep is definitely affected by our diets. And then I think another really, really important thing that we need to do is ask, how is my blood work? And to get that checked on a regular basis. So while they seem to have great success, some of these diets short term, we have to ask ourselves, what about long-term effects? And so that's what I wonder about diets such as the paleo and the ketogenic diet. And that's where your blood work is going to really come in handy. So keep in touch with your doctor over that. But so what I've decided to do is just to offer a couple of guiding principles for you that might help. No matter what, I think all of these diets agree on these guiding principles. One is fill your plate with vegetables. Now, I have a couple of ideas that might help with this, and they're just real basic, and you probably already know them, but salads are really simple. So making a salad, just loading up on vegetables that way can be a real simple way to fill your plate with vegetables. I'm going to give you on the slide, I'm going to give you her website information, but there's a gal online that I follow a lot. Her name is Detoxinista, and she has a great idea with mason jar salads. So, and that can be prepared ahead of time, just placed in your fridge. You can grab and go for work or school or whatever you're doing. I love her mason jar salads, and she has her own recipes for salad dressings. And so you start at the bottom, put your salad dressing, and then you fill it up with the rest of the stuff. and such a great way to take a salad on the go. Another thing that I've learned over the years is to cut up vegetables ahead of time, perhaps on the weekend. I know in our home that if I have a container filled with cut up vegetables, my kids are more likely to eat them, and I am also more likely to eat them. So that's a great thing to do, just to prep. I know a lot of people talk about that, but it really does make a difference. So just putting your mind to, put it on your calendar. Say, I'm gonna spend an hour just washing and cutting up vegetables. And then another thing that's really helpful. Oops, I didn't do that. Oh yeah, sorry. We're almost there. Fill your plate with veggies. We're still there. Connect with a CSA, a community supported agriculture. I think that this is the most cost-effective way to get truly fresh vegetables that are not carted across the country. And oftentimes it is so much more affordable. I'm part of a CSA here locally called Fawcett Farms. And I'm telling you what, I come home with a huge bag of vegetables that probably if I went to a store like Whole Foods or Earth Fare, I would be paying big, big bucks for. So probably 3 times the amount that I pay for. So I think it's so great. Connect with your local farmers and be a part of that. It's really a great way to get fresh vegetables. And then finally, making green smoothies. I love doing this. It's kind of become a habit of mine, and I'm going to give you a recipe. It's coming, but I'm not there yet. So we'll get that at the end of this little section. All right. So guiding principle number 1: fill your plate with vegetables. Secondly, get enough of the nutrients that your body needs. Some diets provide this better than others, but too many of us are not getting what we need. And it's mostly because our foods, even the fresh ones, are not as nutrient dense because of farming and processing practices. So we should be concerned about this. And no diet out there is perfect. That's why doTERRA offers the Lifelong Vitality Pack, which I love. And I tell you, it's so funny. Because we are an essential oils company, but this is our number 1 product. And that's fascinating to me. And just real quickly, there are 3 bottles in the Lifelong Vitality Pack. The first one is the Alpha CRS. It's a cellular complex containing powerful polyphenols that protect cells from free radicals, which is a really big issue with our bodies right now in our society. And those free radicals can damage cellular DNA, mitochondria, and other critical cell structures. So keeping them healthy is really important. So that's what Alpha CRS helps with. Our Z Omega provides ultra pure essential fatty acids and other fat soluble nutrients that help support heart and circulatory health, brain health, and optimal immune function, among many other systemic benefits. And finally, our Microplex VMZ is a balanced formula of essential vitamins and bioavailable minerals carefully formulated to provide optimal levels of key micronutrients that support energy and immune functions. So put it to the test. I mean, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. And if you feel like you need more energy, and you feel like you need to take a little bit better care of your body, I really think that this could be an integral part of that. So the LLV is proven to manage oxidation, to maintain healthy immune response, and influence daily hormonal activity. And let me tell you, if our hormones are out of whack, our health is out of whack. Hormones affect everything. So put the LLV to the test. I think you'll be amazed at how you feel. So, all right. So supplement is our 3rd guiding principle. All right. Oils that help as far as eating right. If we are focusing on detox support, we may want to consider oils like lemon. You can add that to your water for refreshing flavor, but it's more than just that. You'll also get a detoxifying effect from it. Zendocrine is a great oil. You can use that. It's our detoxifying blend. It comes in supplement form or oil form. I like to put it over my liver and kidneys and digestive area. I do that most every morning. And I think that's a real benefit. And so also lemongrass is a purifying oil. And this is not an exhaustive list, but just a couple of ideas. I don't want you drinking from the fire hose this morning, although it may feel like that by the end, but just offering a few things. All right, so if it's digestive support that you need, oils such as digestin, which also contains peppermint, ginger, and fennel, but those oils on their own can be helpful for that digestive support. So, and then our amazing PB Assist is our probiotic, but it has prebiotic fibers and 6 strains of probiotic microorganisms. And what I love about it, it's in a double layer capsule. And that ensures that all of your digestive tract is impacted with good flora. So it's this time-released system that protects sensitive probiotic cultures from your stomach acid. So it's amazing. Also, Terrazyme is our digestive enzyme complex. And this aids in digestion and absorption of critical nutrients. So I like to take that at mealtime, and that helps. Like if we're not eating a lot of raw foods, this is an important part of what we should add to our diet to get those helpful digestive enzymes. And if you're after some appetite support, we have some appetite suppressant oils and products. Some oils that are great, grapefruit. You can take that internally. It is so refreshing in water. In fact, grapefruit and lime together, you should try that sometime. It's very delicious. But it also helps as an appetite suppressant. You can also diffuse it. Apparently, research has been done to show that grapefruit diffused helps our brains not tell us that we're so hungry, apparently. So also our Slim and Sassy, we have a whole line of products, but Slim and Sassy is our metabolic blend, and it helps to energize and also control appetite. So take a few drops of Slim and Sassy when you wake up, and you'll feel a little bit of energy come on, which is helpful. So lots of other products, I won't go into them, but like protein powder and bars and all sorts of things. So you can check that out. So I have a couple of gurus when it comes to eating right. I told you about Detoxinista. She has a lot of raw vegan recipes, and what I love about her is her recipes are easy and they're delicious. I have yet to find a recipe, and I've tested several of them, but I've yet to find a recipe that I do not like. And tonight I'm going to make her vegan lasagna made with sweet potato noodles. And I think the cheese sauce is made out of white beans, so it should be pretty good. Looking forward to that. But she's got a lot of great recipes. And then secondly, Dr. Josh Axe. I know Crystal posts some of his stuff, and I do too on my in my Facebook group. So he is really big on gut health. And so if you feel like you need to do some work in that area, you might want to check him out. But he has got, in fact, I think he's a guru for most of my building blocks. So check him out in general. He's got a nice variety of recipes and just a lot of great health information. And then finally, the Green Smoothie Girl, I've been following her for a while, many years, and started my green smoothies after I came in contact with her. She's got some great recipes and is really big on raw foods. And so with that in mind, this is my green smoothie recipe. Now, had you come to my class when I did this live, I actually made this for everybody, and we tasted it, and nobody complained and nobody didn't like it. So this will probably make about 2 quarts. And I can drink a quart on my own, and then usually like my family has the rest. But so 3 to 4 cups of water, some large handfuls. I mean, grab the handfuls of greens. I really love to use Costco's Power Greens. They're ready to go, and they're not big leaves. They're like the baby leaves, so they're not as bitter. So I grab huge handfuls of those. I throw a knob of ginger in there if you want to just change that up and use the ginger oil. That would work too. And then I like to just throw some fruit in. And if you ask me how much I use, I couldn't even tell you. I just dump some of the bag in. So you just adjust it according to your desired taste. Maybe you want to start with 2 medium-sized handfuls of greens and just see if you can work your way up. The other thing I love to do is after I'm done making it, I'll pour it into a glass, and I will use tangerine oil. It's very delicious. So that is my go-to green smoothie recipe. All right, so check those people out. They are really great resources. All right, so back to our wellness guide here. We've talked about eating right. We're going to talk about exercise next. I love healthy habit number 2 because you might not know that I have been a fitness instructor for over 10 years. And being in that, we just have a lot of fun. Exercise can be fun, and you connect with people in addition to helping you get healthy. So this is a kind of a funny picture of me before I taught a spin class. We had our special guest, Reba McIntyre, with us. So, all right. So everyone knows that exercise is important. And you know, something is better than nothing. And so I'm going to give you some guiding principles to help you if you're in a slump with exercise or just need some ideas. And I think the first thing that you can do is just find something that you enjoy, whether it's yoga. If you have a dog and the dog definitely would love to go walking with you. Just go walk your dog, but get your heart rate up. Or maybe you want to train for a 5K. Maybe you like swimming. But the more you like to do something, the more you're going to do it. So make a reasonable commitment ahead of time and put it on your calendar. Maybe you say you're going to I'm going to go to the gym 4 times a week, whatever. But if you put it on your calendar and you set your mind to it, you're more likely to do it. So commit ahead of time, put it on the calendar, and then do it with a friend. Find somebody to do it with. And even if you don't have a friend who wants to maybe get up really early with you or whatever, you can find people at the gym with whom you can connect, and they will start to look for you, which is a great thing. Another thing is to vary your exercise. Even people who are runners and train for races, they are doing cross training because all that running is really hard on your body. So same thing. I mean, just vary your exercise. It's so much easier on your body. And I think it helps keep you motivated. Now, you might not be a fan of this, but I think it's great to do it early because you're less likely to talk yourself out of it. So very helpful to just roll out of bed and go get it done, because as the day goes on, the demands are there. And you're more likely to just say, not today, I can't. And I talked about this, go to the gym, join a class. People will look for you. That's one of the things I love about, I teach an early morning spin class on Wednesday mornings. And, we look for each other. And it's kind of cool to, that when somebody's been missing, it's nice to be missed and to send them a text. So I think there's a little bit of that happens when you join a class at the gym. And finally, get your heart rate up. Make sure you're doing exercise that helps you get your heart rate up. Some people ask the question, how long should I exercise? And my answer to that is it depends on what you're doing. If you're doing intense exercise, then your duration should be shorter. There's something that I love to do if I have a short amount of time, or if I'm unmotivated that day and don't want to be exercising very long. I do what's called Tabatas, and it's an interval-based training, and it's really popular to do this if you're interested in burning fat. So you work really, really hard for 20 seconds. So you're going to go all out at an anaerobic pace, and then you rest for 10 seconds. And you do that for 8 cycles or 4 minutes, and then you take a break, and then you repeat it again. And it doesn't have to be the same exercise. So say the first one, you're going to, maybe you're going to jog in place, all right, for the first Tabata. And sometimes I'll do like 2 things, like, okay, I'll do jogging in place, and then I'll do jumping jacks. All right, so that's my first Tabata, and I'll switch back and forth. And then the next round, the next 4 minutes, I might do something else like burpees. Everybody loves burpees, right? So, so then you might throw in another exercise or whatever. But you want to go as hard as you can for those 20 seconds and then take a break. The experts say that you only need 3 to 4 cycles of this to burn fat. So now if you are doing cardio activity that is less intense, say you're going out for a jog, you might want to spend longer doing that. That might need about 30 minutes or 45, whatever you can do. And if you have to jog and walk, that's great. You know, anything is better than nothing. So, all right. So oils that help with exercise. And again, these are not exhaustive lists. I just didn't want to throw too much at you, but of course, deep blue. We want to use deep blue. You can use it before and after exercise, especially if you're sore in an area. You might want to put it on before you exercise and then afterwards as well. And you'll feel it heat up as your muscles start to work. That deep blue, although it starts as a kind of a cooling effect, it will definitely heat up. I love peppermint and wild orange before exercise, especially early in the morning, to help me be awake, help me wake up a little bit. So those are great to give you a little energy. And then I almost always use Mito 2 Max, especially when I'm teaching a back-to-back spin class. I need as much energy as I can. And that is our energy and stamina complex. And it is great, whether you're needing it for exercise or alertness, or you just need some energy for the day. So those are just a couple things that can help. And if you need some ideas, I think Dr. Axe is really great in giving ideas too for some exercise or Tabata-like exercises. So you can check him out. All right, so back to our wellness lifestyle. We are on our 3rd one with rest and managing stress. Oh man, this is a hot topic, isn't it? Too many people are struggling with sleep and stress. And stress is at an all-time high. It really is. So, man, we need to deal with this and nip this in the bud. If this is you, listen up. All right, we're going to look at 2 things, or you might want to look at 2 things. Hormones. Hormones make a huge impact on our health, including our sleep. So if your hormones are off, your health is off, you've got to talk to your doctor, get some ideas. We have some great hormonal help with doTERRA products. Clary Calm is really wonderful. There's some other products you can check out, but do some research. And before you venture into just talking with your doctor, you might want to try that. But if your hormones are off, your health is definitely impacted. But then you ask yourself too, what can you eliminate or tweak to manage your stress? Great questions. We're going to start talking about sleep though, and then we'll hit stress. So guiding principles for sleep. Sleep is such a big topic, and there is so much that affects sleep. But I'm just going to give you a list of some really good things I think that might be affecting a good night's sleep. And some of this you might be surprised at seeing. These are things that, you know, we are not told in general. Some of these things might be well known, but some of them might not be. So we need to get plenty of sunlight during the day. Sunlight actually helps our wake and sleep cycles. It helps with our natural rhythm of life. So it's important to get out there and be in the sun. It's great for vitamin D as well. Shut screens down 1 hour before. Isn't this a hard one? In our society, we just are constantly checking our phones or on our computers. But start a disciplined habit of shutting the screens down in your house an hour before. I know a family that doesn't even do screen time after dinner. So that would be challenging, but it might be a helpful place to start. So also implement a caffeine curfew. Did you know that caffeine stays in your system for nearly 6 hours? So if you're a coffee lover or a tea lover and you're drinking caffeinated coffee or tea, shut it down at least 6 hours before you are heading to bed. And experiment with your sleep times to find what works best for you. Most people need 6 to 9 hours of sleep per night. And so play with that a little bit. Allow yourself the pleasure of sleeping for 9 hours. And if your body is done after 6 hours, well, then maybe that's all you need. But experiment with that and see what works best for you. Black out the bedroom and eliminate all light. So the experts apparently say just covering our eyes is not enough. Our skin can also sense light. So I didn't know that, but that's a really interesting thing to know. All right, limit your alcohol intake. It actually has a negative effect on your REM sleep. So interesting to think about that. And then calm your mental chatter. And I think we all just need to figure out how that works for us. For me, I like to just give those things that I'm thinking about to God in prayer. So it's important that we just allow that mental chatter to be gone in whatever way it works for you. Limit blue light. This is a problem these days because even your light bulbs, a lot of the light bulbs today are blue light. And so I didn't realize that until a few months back when I was buying some new light bulbs in particular in my bedroom. So also there are apps for phones and for computers. Night Shift is one that works for iPhone, and Flux is for desktop or laptop. Check those out, Night Shift and Flux. So they will actually make I know Flux for a fact makes my screen kind of an orangey glow after a while. So, and then go to bed before 10. Apparently we get our best sleep before or between 10 and 2, which is interesting as well. And then keep your temperature between 65 and 68 at night. If you keep it cool, you tend to sleep better. And finally, create a sleep sanctuary, a place where it's screen-free, place that is calming, place where you can diffuse your oils, etc. That when you walk into that sleep sanctuary, your body knows, you can sense what's coming. So those are really great things. All right, so stress, guiding principles for stress management. So contributing factors to stress right now, there are so many. I'm just going to name a few. Toxic relationships, overwhelming amount of work, electronics, that constant ringing and buzzing, social media, the bombardment of information. Is that ringing true for you when it comes to stress? So I think the first step to dealing with stress is recognizing it and identifying the contributing factors to your stress. We can't always control what happens or what comes our way, but we can control our response to it. So coming up with ideas of how we can do that. Be aware that our stress can have an impact physically, emotionally, and mentally on our bodies. And then determine what can be eliminated. I think this is so important. It's so hard sometimes to let things go, but we have got to figure out what in our lives can be eliminated and then make that decision to cut it off. So it's hard, but it's good. And finally, deciding on healthy ways to deal with stress. So whether that is incorporating exercise, whether that is some deep breathing with our oils, that's a great way to deal with stress. Praying, there are lots of ways to deal with stress. You could probably Google it and find a number of great ones. So I'm going to combine these oils that help with for sleep and stress. There seem to be a lot of them that are great for both. Lavender, serenity, vetiver, bergamot, Roman chamomile, clary sage, lang lang. Those are great oils to help with both. And some blends that work for sleeplessness from depression and anxiety. It's great to pair a resin or a tree essential oil like vetiver, cedarwood, sandalwood, frankincense with a citrus oil such as wild orange, lime, lemon, bergamot. These stabilize the mood fluctuations. They help ground the body and promote relaxation. And then if you need to calm your nervous system and the mental chatter that's going on, flower oils are great for this, such as lavender, Roman chamomile, clary sage, geranium, or lang lang. All right, so this is, I call this Angie's Dream Blend. It's 2 drops each of vetiver, bergamot, and juniper berry, and it relieves tension and stress. And the reason I call it a dream blend is because it seems like every time I diffuse this, I dream. So I'm in a very wonderful place in deep sleep, and they've always been really good dreams too. So that's just kind of a fun one to throw out there to you. And a great sleep blend for the diffuser is cedarwood paired with either citrus bliss or lavender. And then if you are struggling with your sleep due to digestive issues, I highly recommend probiotics before bed. So taking that PB Assist, you only need one, and then placing digestin or zendocrine or both on your belly and your liver. So a great thing to do. And if you just need to de-stress before bed, which probably is all of us in some sense, if you can take a lavender bath, oh, that's so wonderful. It's 1 cup of Epsom salt. Now, while you have that 1 cup of dry Epsom salt, go ahead and pour the 10 to 15 drops of lavender directly onto the Epsom salt before you put it in the water. And that way it's not sitting on top. The lavender, the essential oil, is not sitting on top of the water, but it's blended well with the Epsom salt. So, and then if you just need stress support in general, balance on the bottoms of your feet that's a great oil to use. And then clary calm and serenity. So good stuff there. Lots of oils for sleep and stress. So gurus for sleep and stress management. Sean Stevenson, I just kind of listened to a webinar that he did with Michael Hyatt on sleep, and it was so good. So I highly recommend some of his information. I haven't checked his website out too much, but I just know that interview was really, really good and helpful. And then Josh Axe, once again, is so great for these things, so you can check him out as well. All right, we're cruising now. How are we doing on time? All right, cool. Okay, so back to our wellness philosophy here, our wellness guide. Our 4th building block is reducing toxic load. All right, look at that. Toxins with the skull. Yeah, looks scary. Man, toxins are all around us. Everywhere we go, we are facing toxins. It's in our air. It's in our water. It's not just the water itself, but it's also in things like plastic water bottles if you buy water from the store. It is in our food. Pesticide and herbicide usage, it's at an all-time high. And the things that we put on our body, makeup, skincare, hair care, soaps, hand sanitizers, all of that stuff can be toxic. And then our cleaning products, like have you ever cleaned your bathroom and inhaled and wow, that's like too much for my lungs. You can just smell the chemicals. Yeah, so there's a lot of, there are a lot of toxins in our lives. So some guiding principles to help us reduce our toxic load. You know, you can be on overload here, but I would prefer that you just try to do one thing at a time. Make one or two simple changes before you try another. You know, a great guiding principle in this sense is, what if you just did one thing for this month and you really worked hard at doing that? And then in February, you did another thing. And then in March. So you slowly tackled this topic instead of trying to do everything at once. Here are a couple ideas. Replace your inorganic produce for organic produce, especially or in particularly for all of the dirty dozen fruits and vegetables. This is a list online. These are the ones that have, when tested, they absorb the most of the pesticides. So I will just throw these at you, but you can find this online. Strawberries, spinach, nectarines, apples, peaches, pears, cherries, grapes, celery, tomatoes, bell peppers, and potatoes. Those are probably the ones that you would want to choose organic for. So if you have to start somewhere, start with that list. And then while you're looking at that list, go ahead and look at what are the, I think they call them the clean 15. And these are the ones that you don't necessarily need to buy organic because they don't absorb as much of the pesticides. So check that out, and then don't you know, feel like you have to purchase organic for those. All right, so consider a different skincare line. Some of you may not know that even doTERRA has some great skincare options. So check that out. But think about that. I mean, read your labels. It's so important for us to read labels these days. Check and see what's in your skincare line or your other body products that you're using. What about making your own hand soap and your hand sanitizers? This is wonderful. And I'm going to give you some recipes here at the end of this one. And I think that you'll be so surprised at how simple it is. Very simple. How about using natural deodorant? But you say, natural deodorant doesn't work for me. Well, okay, I understand that. I sweat big time, like all the time, but mostly when I'm working out. And just putting a natural deodorant on, even doTERRA's, doesn't work for me all the time. So here's what I do, because I want to use it. I don't want to go back to aluminum deodorant. But I have a little bottle. I put apple cider vinegar in it. I spray it in my pits, and then I take Purify after that's a little bit dry, and I put a drop of Purify over that, and then I rub my doTERRA deodorant on, and it works for me. So I think that combination is wonderful. But try a couple different things. I know that sounds like a lot, but it really doesn't take much time at all. And then hygiene products. I mean, there are some other options out there for hygiene products, but we should really be thinking about what we're using for our other hygiene products. And there are a lot of other things. I mean, if you want to get right into it, and there are some other things that you can do. This is not an exhaustive list. So, all right, some recipes. Foaming hand soap, 2 to 3 tablespoons of Castile soap, 5 drops of On Guard. Fill the rest of the bottle up with water. All right, you can get foaming hand soap dispensers from doTERRA. You can also get, doTERRA has a soap that's already made. You can just purchase that. That works well as well. So how about a simple all-purpose cleaner? I love this. Our On Guard cleaner concentrate lasts forever. And so you just follow the recipe on there according to what size bottle you have. You can fill the rest up with either water or vodka. Vodka also kills things, so that's a great cleaner as well. And it's fun to go into the liquor store and say, I just need your cheapest vodka because I'm making a cleaning product. They kind of look at you funny. So, and then this is my favorite hand sanitizer. It's a spray. So I use 5 tablespoons of aloe vera juice, and then 4 tablespoons of water or witch hazel, or you can do 2 tablespoons of both. 1/4 teaspoon of vitamin E oil. I love that in the winter because my hands get so dry as it is. And then 8 to 10 drops of On Guard. You can add some other things like grapefruit seed extract and other oils like melaleuca or oregano. That's really good. And then just in a 2-ounce spray bottle. So that works really well. All right, so those are non-toxic recipes that are great. See how simple that is? And you can do that at home. Like, I don't like to make things. I just am not that kind of person, but I don't mind this stuff at all. So perfect. All right, so we've gotten through the first 4, and we are on to informed self-care. All right, so the first 4 really deal with lifestyle. So the next 2, we're going to take a look at, first of all, informed self-care. I'm going to go back. There are so many options available to us these days. We can care for a lot of what we are dealing with through natural means. And oils play a huge role in this. We could sit here and give testimony after testimony. I mean, I'm sure you all have lots of things that with people you work with, or you yourselves or friends, how you have used the oils to help your body deal with issues. I've just been amazed at how oils have helped some of my friends. I have a client and a friend who just had some major hormonal issues, and getting on Clary Calm, she was paying like $400 a month for her hormone medication, and to get off that and just use Clary Calm, I mean, that was huge. So there are testimonies like crazy. We could talk about them afterwards, but just it's exciting when oils help people. You can also use oils for preventative purposes. And just an idea that I had recently, it seems like breast cancer is just rampant these days. And I thought, well, what can I do to just work on a preventive kind of way to deal with that? And so I have a roller ball of just frankincense that I use, and just putting that on every day for breast care. And I do it directly on the breast. So I think things like that, I think we need to ask ourselves, what kind of preventative things can I do? So then we have so many great resources. We have our Modern Essentials book. The Essential Life book is wonderful. And doTERRA, the website, it just has a ton of really helpful information. Facebook groups, classes like these, we have a lot of resources to help us take care of ourselves. But one thing I want to be clear that our bodies were designed by God to heal themselves when they are given the proper tools. So if we're eating right, we're exercising, we're resting and managing our stress well, we're reducing toxic load, we are helping our bodies work efficiently and effectively. And oils definitely help with this, as they help prevent disease and illness, and as they help promote repair and healing. So just a lot of great stuff. And if you're dealing with something in particular, I encourage you, just go look at those, check those resources out, and And even Dr. Axe, you can check him out too for things that you might be dealing with. And lastly, proactive medical care. There is a time and place to go seek medical advice. In my family, we really do try to do everything we can to treat issues on our own, but we know that there's a time when we need to go see the doctor. And we do go for regular checkups. I think that's important, whether it be for the dentist or the doctor or the gynecologist. All those things I think are really important to just continue to connect, get blood work done. Like I said earlier, it's just really important. And I wanted to share too, some of you may not know this, but doTERRA has envisioned this since the beginning when they started in 2008 to open integrative clinics all over the US. And so it's so exciting to think about even having one here locally, if that is to come. So be looking for these to pop up. They're opening their first one in Utah, where our headquarters is located. So just be in tune with that whole thing. It's pretty exciting. So just going to finish up by asking you, what will you do? Maybe pick one or two things that you want to do starting now to improve your health. And maybe you can share that with us here. We'll chat here in a minute. But I'd love for you to just make a commitment to doing that. And I really appreciate your time today. It's been fun to present this information to you. If you have questions, I'd love to take some, or maybe Crystal and I can partner up and do that. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Angie. What great information. I know everyone got a lot of practical ideas, wonderful recipes. People are asking if they can get some screenshots or list recipes and things for sure. But I'm going to switch off the recording, but stick around. We'll talk some more and answer questions and things after I get this stopped. Thanks for joining us.